Corporate Home Office figures suggest that only 1 in 10 crimes reported to police results in a charge or a court summons. Well, with me now is Peter Kirkham, former Detective Chief Inspector at the Met Police. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Your reaction to these figures today?
Absolutely not surprised at all. If only somebody had been pointing out that 8 years of relentless cuts was going to mean, with a bit of a time lag of 3 to 5 years for it to work through, was going to result in street crime especially going through the roof. If only somebody had been pointing that out. Well, we did, and so did the Federation, and we were sarcastically dismissed as crying wolf by Theresa May when she was Home Secretary. She has been warned about this, we have told her about this, and she has chosen to ignore it.
Well, obviously, Theresa May isn't here to defend herself, but we have had a statement from the Home Office which says that the Independent Office for National Statistics is clear that the likelihood of being a victim remains low. However, every violent crime is a significant concern, and the government is taking decisive action to tackle it. They go on to say, we recognise that crime is changing and that police demand is becoming increasingly complex. We continue to deliver on the 61 commitments contained in our serious violence strategy, which emphasises a renewed focus on steering young people away from violence while continuing to ensure the strongest possible law enforcement response. What do you make of that?
Usual Home Office nonsense. Words, it's not action. Public space is not safer. Public space is now significantly less safe because what we haven't got there is what the crime prevention world would call capable guardians. That would be the police officers patrolling public space. They're just not there anymore.
Obviously, policing has got more complex. There are new challenges for the police when it comes to counter-terrorism, cybercrime.
Of course there are, which means they need more officers to do that as well as traditional crime, instead of which they've reduced officers. So there's new challenges, everything's getting more complicated. There's new types of crime being understood, and yet there are fewer officers. The officers that we have got are being burned out. They are leaving in their droves, losing that experience. Every light on the dashboard is flashing red.
So as you understand it, what's the reality for bobbies on the beat at the moment?
They're stressed beyond endurance. They are going sick with stress, they are going out on ill health pensions, they're just choosing to leave and go and drive trains. They are getting out in their droves. The workload is unrelenting, it's unsustainable, and yet we get chief officers and the College of Policing just saying, oh, well, we're going to do better training and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. They are all either in denial or deliberately ignoring, for some reason, the fact that you need more police officers. Do
you think that certain urban areas, if it is predominantly urban areas where this crime is happening, do you think it has become as unsafe as these figures suggest? Or do you think there are perhaps other social reasons for this? There are some areas. It's not everywhere. We are still, overall, less crimes in total than we've had in the fairly recent past, not the very recent past. Everything's going up, including total numbers by the Office for National Statistics. But there are certainly some areas where it's significantly more dangerous than it was. Robberies have gone up significantly. That will be driven by street robberies rather than armed robberies. And, in fact, moped crime has also been cited as a reason for that. Vehicle crime's gone up. That's moped crime. We sort of know that. The homicides have gone up. That will be street crime-related. Homicides, the knife crime epidemic is associated with street crime. That's the increase. There's background knife crime, always has been. But the increase has come from street crime-related crime. You only deal with street crime if you've got police officers, A, to deter it by their presence, and B, to investigate it when it happens. What they fail to understand by constantly referring to the crime survey is that what drives demand for police officers to respond and investigate is reported crime. So if reported crime is going up, you need more police officers to properly investigate that. We saw the headlines about hate crime. You can't respond to hate crime without officers, and yet the HMIC don't even mention resourcing. Just briefly, your message to the government? Listen and reverse the cuts to policing before we descend into anarchy in some areas. It is that bad. Peter Kirkham, thank you very much indeed. Thank you. The Security Minister, Ben Wallace,